Britt here. Next, we're going to talk about what it means to create a space of grace for yourself. A space where you're not just returning to yourself, but living from that place and walking in peace and showing up whole. Because this homecoming isn't a one-time visit. It's your new way of being. And if you've made it this far, I want you to take a breath with me and just pause and do the belly. Breathe into your belly. You know, we're taught our whole lives, or at least I was, hold your stomach in, shoulders back, stomach in. And I grew up riding and showing horses as well. So, you know, equestrian posture was very important. And perfectionism got a hold of me at some point too. And I just stopped breathing because I thought I had to hold my stomach in all the time. And then I learned that also short-circuited my brain of some really beneficial oxygen and started a pattern that didn't help my body. So let's do that again. Take a deep breath. And if you've ever watched a baby breathe, they lay on their backs and their little belly goes up and down, up and down. And we're meant to breathe like that our whole lives, not up here in the chest where most Americans breathe from. You've already done something very brave today, okay? And you've made it this far. Like I said, just take a breath. So again, if you've made it this far, I'm so glad you've joined us today and hope that you've learned something. And know that you've already done something brave. You stopped avoiding long enough to listen to this video and to feel and maybe even to wonder, what if healing is possible for me too? And I want you to know it is. It absolutely is. And this part of the journey where you start gently coming home to yourself is sacred. It can feel lonely sometimes, or confusing and vulnerable. You might start noticing your patterns and your pain and your grief, and even though it's good work, it can be heavy at moments, and I hope you'll tune back in here for inspiration whenever you need some help. Hopefully every one of these videos will give you some encouragement on your journey, especially when you've been doing it all on your own. Now that's why I created Path to Thrive. Not as just another course that you never finish, or a checklist, or self-help system, but as a personal, grace-filled invitation back to your very own heart, and back to God, and to life, not just any life, but a grounded, peaceful, truly, fully present life. The life God designed for you before you chose your abortion. He's got every day planned out from this day forward, and I want you to take back yours. Now, I know what it's like to live disconnected, and I know what it's like to smile on the outside and shut down on the inside. I know the mental gymnastics of avoiding your emotions while trying to serve God and take care of everyone else. Now, no mistaking this here. Pro tip here. When depression hits so deeply that you can't do anything, I've been there, laying on the couch, not getting out of bed, thinking, what's another day worth? In fact, God, I think it's time to go to heaven. He and I had that conversation more times than I care to admit, but here I am admitting it. Those are the times that it can be useful to go help someone else and get out of your own self if you find yourself getting stuck in those places. For me, it was feeding the homeless, especially having come from an eating disorder. For me, realizing there are people out there that don't have enough to eat, that are miserable, that don't even know where their next meal is coming from. Just getting out of myself and going and feeding the homeless, that got me through a real tough time. I looked forward to every Tuesday. And I got up and out of my space and out of my apartment and helping someone else to help me get out of my own way, so I could begin to come back to being present. Because at the time, I was barely holding on. And if you've listened to enough of my videos, you know that suicidal thinking is also an effect of abortion. It's an after effect and one of the many symptoms that we do our best to avoid, right? So I know how easy it is to say, I'm fine, when what you're really saying is, I'm hanging on by a thread. Now, Path to Thrive was born from that place in me, the one that finally stopped trying to fix everything and started learning how to feel again. That one that traded performance, peace. I'll tell you, now that I found peace, I will never give it up. I traded my shame for honesty, and I traded my hiding out for healing. Path to Thrive is a Christ-centered, emotionally grounded healing process specifically designed for women carrying post-abortive grief, unprocessed trauma, and all the symptoms that come with it. It's not about fixing you, because you're not broken. You're not broken beyond repair. You're on the brink of becoming you. And it's all about reconnecting to parts of yourself that you've had to abandon just to survive. Because when we abandoned that baby, we abandoned a part of ourself that's been long coming. She's been waiting for us to catch up, to help her up, and to recreate the life that God made for her in the first place. It's still there. Your dreams are real. You still have them for a reason, and I'd love to help you achieve them. You are beloved.